Hello PokeMoshPit, my name is ThePikawu, and today I will proudly present to you a underused tier battle against Xenon3120, one of the best lower tier battlers here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoy this underused tier match, as it is surely a treat because it is different from the black and white and standard OU battles that are prominent here on this channel. So, I'm a person who likes originality, and I would never make a team full of standard Smogon Pokemon sets. In addition, I usually also incorporate Photoshop and editing skills, as well as music in my videos to make my battles as enjoyable as possible. I also like to put an educational edge on my narrations, so if you guys like this battle, definitely give this video a thumbs up. And if you don't mind, check out my channel out, link will obviously be in the description below. Alright guys, a underused tier match against the one and only Xenon3120. Now, if you are one of my old subscribers, you are probably familiar with my team I am using right now. It is my never used tier team prior to the tier change in September when Executor became underused. So it's Omastar versus Jumpluff lead right here, and I'm going to predict him to switch into something to take the sleep. So instead of going for the sleep powder, I'm going to go into my Porygon 2 to get the download special attack boost as he switches into Clefable. Now this isn't your standard Porygon 2 set, but rather it's an offensive sweeper. And I see the Flame Orb, and because Clefable is probably one of the most versatile Pokemon in the underused metagame, I want to scout whether he is offensive or defensive. And I go for the substitute, hoping he goes for a non-attacking move, and that's really great because he does go for the wish, and that means he's also defensive and most likely specially bulky. Now this matchup isn't too great for me, but after hitting this Clefable with the +1 tri-attack, I see it does a little less than half, and that's no problem because my Porygon 2 does pack the Petai Berry, and after the Petai Berry boost, I should be able to take down this Clefable, since my special attack will hit almost 680. Now, all I have to do is wait for this Clefable to bring me down low enough with a couple of seismic tosses, and I would fully be set up. Now, this Porygon 2 is such a monster when it actually is able to fully set up, and I do have a video pertaining to this Porygon 2 set on my channel, so feel free, if you're interested, to definitely check out that video on my channel. Now, he goes for the Seismic Toss here, and that's going to bring me down to my Petai Berry boost, and I'm finally fully set up. And he goes for the Protect just to see if I have another move, and I do show him my second move, which is Thunderbolt. And Tri-Attack and Thunderbolt combination is pretty good. The only thing that walls it is Ground Rock Pokemon and Magneton. So now Xenon goes into this Blaziken, and I know I can outspeed a Choice Scarf set, but he's actually a priority using specially based Blaziken. And I go into Rip Your Nips to scare out this Blaziken, and I go for the Stone Edge, predicting him to switch into a flying type to take the obvious Earthquake. But Xenon makes a safe play and goes into the Hitmontop rather than his Swallow that he does have on his team that he will later reveal. And those are really great plays, since even after crit Stone Edge, it didn't even deal that much. So I go into my Gastrodon because it is my physical wall, as he now safely brings in his Swallow. And Swallow gets the Guts boosts, and then just U-turns out. And he U-turns out and goes back into his Blaziken, predicting my Ice Beam. And now the only reason why he would bring in the Blaziken would be because he has the Hidden Power Grass. So I'm going to go into my Jumpluff to take the Hidden Power Grass because I do quad resist it. And yeah, the Hidden Power Grass doesn't do much at all, and I'm going to predict to switch here, and I'm going to predict him to go back into Swallow to take the Sleep Powder since Swallow is already burned. But he actually goes for the Fire Blast here and doesn't switch out, and although I quad resist it, I have to switch out fearing the Fighting type move, so I go back into my Pinsir to take the Superpower, and I'm just going to go for the Close Combat here because all the Pokemon I've seen on his team do not resist the Close Combat. So Close Combat will pretty much do heavy damage to anything that switches in, or KO this Blaziken if it does stay in. And that's really nice because I do KO the Blaziken. And now Xenon surprisingly goes back into his Omastar, and that's going to take super effective damage from Close Combat. But to my surprise, it only deals around half. That probably means that Omastar is trained in HP and defense. And Omastar is going to get his rocks up, and that's going to hurt my team really bad as Pinsir and Magcargo are weak to rocks. And I go for the CC one more time just to finish off this Omastar, and the Omastar goes down, so that's amazing. Now Xenon goes back into his Swallow, and the only reason why he would do that is because he does pack the quick attack. And I go back into my Magcargo because it's pretty much my only counter to this Swallow that can fully wall all his attacks and resists all his attacks. But as you can see, Stealth Rocks pretty much cripple and chip away at Magcargo's large amount of HP. And he U-turns out and goes back into the Hitmontop, and I set up my rocks here because I really need rocks up to get some damage on that Swallow for every time he switches out and switches back in. And I go for the Lava Plume here, hoping to get the burn, but I don't. And he goes for the Rapid Spin there, and that's gonna suck really bad because I didn't get my rocks up, and that Swallow's gonna be a huge threat without getting rock damage. So I do carry the Chopple, and if the Hitmontop did get burned, I would have been able to survive that close combat. But unfortunately, he takes down my Magcargo. So now I go into my Jump Bluff because it is max attack Jolly Nature. And after the -1 special defense drop from the Hitmontop, I thought I was gonna be able to KO this Hitmontop at the point. But yeah, it doesn't KO, which kinda sucks. But he went for the Sucker Punch and it failed. And I go for the Swords Dance here, pretty much to show you guys that this is a Swords Dance Jump Bluff set. And after my Swords Dance, I am gonna finish off this Hitmontop with a Bounce. And a little bit of mind games here. The Sucker Punch failed. I went for the Sleep Powder, just to show Xenon that I actually do pack the Sleep Powder. And yeah, now I go for the Bounce here. And at this point, after the Swords Dance, as long as I don't miss, I will be able to take down this Hitmontop. And yeah, the Hitmontop goes down. So that's really nice. Now Xenon switches back into Swallow again. And I'm just gonna leave my Jump Bluff as Death Fodder here because I don't want any of my Pokemon to get hit by a Stab Facade. And now I go into my Executor here, my only underused Pokemon on this team. And I'm just gonna leave this Pokemon as Death Fodder just to get more recoil and burn damage. So Swallow's HP would be even less. So he does KO me easily, one hit with the Brave Bird. And it's kind of funny that my only underused Pokemon I brought didn't really help me one bit. So he's gonna go for the U-turn here, and he's gonna U-turn out, and it all depends on his last Pokemon. If it's a Pokemon I'm able to Toxic Recover Stall, I will be able to win easily. But his last Pokemon is a Sceptile, a Pokemon I didn't want to see at all. But I went for the Ice Beam here, and the Pokemon gods seemed to love me because they gave me a crit on the Sceptile, and that was really game changing because as the Sceptile could have lived the Ice Beam, he could have killed off my Gastrodon, my Pinsir would have killed off his Sceptile, but then the Swallow could have quick attacked and killed my Pinsir. But because I did get the crit, I will be able to live the Facade and take down that Swallow with a Ice Beam. But nevertheless, we both put up a really great fight, and I really hoped this battle shows you guys how fun the underused tier really is, as originality as well as never used Pokemon have great potential in the underused metagame, whereas in the overused metagame, it's rather centralized and has a relatively rigid metagame. So if you guys like this Pokemon battle, rate, comment, subscribe to PokeMoshPit and all that cool jazz. And if you want to see more content made by me, definitely check out my channel out. And as Xenon would say, I'll catch you guys next time with a Pokeball.